in my hand here, that's great, only the most important stories of the day to discuss. Probably about 120 of them.
Right.
We came up. We had to slim it down a little bit from all of.
We had to slimize it.
Slimize it.
That's a good one.
From the entire reading the entire newspaper.
Yes.
We had to cut at least 1 or 2 pages out of the newspaper, and we have now our top 120 stories. If anybody this is very heavy.
We really narrowed that down too.
Right. This is very, very heavy news.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's heavy news because it's going to be hard to listen to. I'm saying it's heavy because
Heavy
these
in weight.
cards
It seems like a lot of cards.
a lot of cards to carry. I don't know if you've ever seen me with the headband around sometimes.
Right.
Groundhog Sam took me, to work out a little bit. They have the Bradshaw Live headband around me.
Brad and this working out.
I'm going to tell you
challenge.
something. When I get news like this, they got to give me the headband. Because I'm going to be breaking into a sweatsuit trying to hold all these cards.
Something inside me tells me you got this.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
The top of the news is basically who else
Here we go.
other than this orange guy. He's taking his victory lap. Yes, he won. Yes, he was acquitted. Yes, he went to a prayer breakfast to hold up that USA Today. Now, I don't think he's a very religious man. So, I mean, if you had to take a guess, did he go to this prayer breakfast for prayers or breakfast?
Or praise.
Which one do you think he went for? The breakfast
Definitely
or the prayers?
breakfast.
I think he went for the free breakfast too.
Right.
And we thought that perhaps he would have learned something from this impeachment, to stay in his lane.
Oh, please.
Okay? He's not staying in his lane.
That would be too much to ask of our dear friend
he's
Donald.
not staying in his lane. In a packed East room, okay, at this prayer breakfast, where he did more eating than praying. This was after the prayer breakfast. He first, he may have prayed, I'm not sure.
Right.
He definitely ate. And then he came to the East Room, packed with conservatives, and he says, we've been going through this now for over 3 years. He's talking about the impeachment. It was evil, it was corrupt, it was dirty cops, it was leakers and liars, and this should never, ever happen to another president ever. He called Senator Mitt Romney, the only Republican who voted for his conscience, a failed presidential candidate who used religion as a crutch. He called James Comey, the FBI director he fired for starting the investigation into the Russian meddling of the election, a dirty cop. He said the Russia investigation by Robert Mueller, who found him innocent and didn't make any claims of his innocence or guilt, but he says Robert Mueller's investigation was bullshit. Yeah. All of this in the East Room, and said of Nancy Pelosi and Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who led the effort to oust him in the impeachment. He said, in my opinion, it's almost as if they want to destroy the country. He had an apology. He did have an apology, of course, to his family for having them to go through a very rotten, phony deal by some very sick people.
That's the only apologies that should be handed, right?
Nesquik, what do you think of all this?
What do I think?
What do you think, Nesquik?
You're gonna put me on the spot like that, Brad?
I won't put you. I will not.
I don't think I want my heart to speak freely on how I feel about all this Trump stuff.
Now, you did mention to me off the air. You said, I can't believe that Don Jr. posted a picture on Instagram calling Senator Mitt Romney a, quote, pussy, and suggested he be evicted from the Republican Party.
It's so disrespectful.
First of all, disrespectful, but if anything, Mitt Romney was the only one who actually had the strength and courage to vote the truth. Because there is every Republican said what President Trump did was wrong. He violated the Constitution, but they said one of two things, which they, we talked about this the other day. They said one of two things, which they kind of put their hat on, so to speak, to at least give some reasoning behind the acquittal, was either, there was two camps. Either one, well, he didn't break any penal codes. He didn't break, there's no criminal code that he broke. So therefore, since it was nothing criminal, we can't impeach him, which is not the basis for for ousting a president. Ousting a president is betraying the public trust and betraying his oath to the Constitution of the United States.
Isn't that what he did?
That's exactly what he did. But they said because it wasn't penal related, there was no criminal activity. We can't oust him from the presidency. Right. And the other camp of Republicans says, yes, that quote was not good. Far from perfect. What he did was wrong. What he did was betray the public trust. But since we have an election coming up in 10 months, we don't feel it's our job to get rid of him. We'll let the American public decide. Those were the two camps of why he got acquitted.
Yeah.
One Republican voted his conscience, and Don Jr. calls him a pussy. Meanwhile, poor guy, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, he won a Purple Heart in Iraq. He served his country. He was, the day that Donald Trump was acquitted, if you remember, he was one of the witnesses against Donald Trump about how he was withholding aid to Ukraine to get them to give dirt on Biden. Well, he was escorted out of the White House today,
Oh, wow.
as well as his twin brother. Both of them escorted out of the White House and fired the day after Donald Trump was acquitted. Now, AdamSchiff, Representative Schiff, he led the impeachment drive against Donald Trump. He and the Democrats are very upset about what happened with Bolton, John Bolton. He was the former national security advisor. He has a lot of secrets in that mustache. Okay, there's all right. We just need to comb through it. All right, and they just wanted to comb through the mustache, but unfortunately, he said he would not appear. This man is more interested in making money and selling books than he is in the truth, and he's more interested in furthering his career than he is in what is the right thing to do in telling the truth and letting the cards fall where they may, because he was subpoenaed by the House of Representatives. He refused to come, and he went to court and says, I am not going to go and testify before the House of Representatives unless a judge tells me to do so. So then, the House of Representatives realized, Adam Schiff realized, it's going to take 2 years to compel him to come. We're gonna do this without him. Then, all of a sudden, as soon as the impeachment's done and it moves to the Senate, he says, all right, I'll come testify, knowing very well the Republicans would never vote to have him come testify. Right. So why is he doing all this? Because the man wants to sell a book.
Jeez.
Okay. So, Schiff told Rachel Maddow on the Rachel Maddow show, we did approach John Bolton's counsel. We asked if Mr. Bolton would be willing to submit an affidavit under oath describing what he observed in terms of the president's Ukraine misconduct, and he refused. We have a video.
We did approach John Bolton's counsel, asked if Mr. Bolton would be willing to submit an affidavit under oath describing what he observed, and he refused.
So Schiff continued, for whatever reason, Bolton apparently was willing to testify before the Senate, but apart from that, seems intent on saving it for his book. He'll have to answer for that, but at this point, we have not made a decision about whether or not to move forward with the subpoena. I mean, basically, he played this whole thing to sell a book.
Yep.
I don't even know if what's in the book is truthful.
Right.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's never testified under oath. Anyone can write a book about anything. Okay, make up whatever they want. Withhold information. Maybe there's information that he didn't share that is in this book.
That's in the book.
Okay, so it's not only about is the information correct in that book, but what information did he not share that is in that book?
Right.
And it's all to sell a book. But until you testify under oath, under penalty of perjury, that if you're caught lying, you go to jail for a very long time, how do we believe anything? How do we believe anything? So,
how many people do you think are going to be wiped out of the White House now that Trump's been acquitted?
I think
he's going to start looking at people sideways.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of people. I think there's going to be a lot of people who end up getting fired now.
Yeah.
moving into the election. Like Mick Mulvaney, Trump can't like him anymore. He's the guy who stood up about 5-6 months ago, and he said, of course Trump was withholding, he admitted it to everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then after he admitted it to everybody, you never heard from the guy again.
Yeah.
Never saw him on TV again.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like Kim Jong-un in a way, like all of a sudden you know who's in good graces by who's on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
So my opinion is Mick Mulvaney's gone. Just because I think Trump and Kim Jong-un are the same.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had the flu last week, as many of you know, because we were not on the air for a little bit. So they now test when you have the flu. Do you have regular flu? Do you have the coronavirus, the Chinese flu? I just got back my results today.
Okay.
And what'd they say, Brad?
They tested me for the coronavirus.
Wow.
Yo.
I came back negative, yo-yo.
Okay.
I have no coronavirus.
Y'all be playing with these coffins.
Unfortunately, that's true.
Okay.
But unfortunately, lots of people, especially in China and in the Far East, do. And is now the doctor who identified the coronavirus.
I saw this.
He was the Chinese whistleblower. Okay. He's the one who came out and said, I think we have a problem here. We have an epidemic of a virus that we don't know how to treat. It's a new virus. It's gonna go like wildfire throughout the country and the world, and the Chinese government shut him down. He was the first doctor to try to treat this coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's now dead
Yeah.
from the coronavirus.
Oh,
Scary.
no.
Yeah, the hospital where Wuhan Central Hospital said our hospital ophthalmologist Li Wenliang was unfortunately infected with coronavirus during his work in the fight against the coronavirus epidemic. He died on 2:58 on February 7th after attempts to resuscitate him were not successful. Now, I was under the impression with this coronavirus that if you got it and you're a relatively healthy person, you would live.
Okay.
And if you were elderly, you were sick, or you were a child, those are the people who would be more likely to risk
Have a
death.
negative effect. Yep.
But apparently this guy was a very healthy doctor, and it killed him.
Hey.
Scares me.
Do you think that it's foul play with that?
No,
Because-
I think that this coronavirus is a lot worse than people are making it out to be.
Yep.
But didn't they silence him though? When
Yes, but I think it's a lot worse. My opinion, in Uncle Brad's opinion, it's a lot worse than they're making it out to be. Do you know there's 50 million people under quarantine in China right now?
50 million?
50 million. 50 million people
Golly.
are now under quarantine, meaning that they can't leave the areas where they live. And the Chinese government is going door to door, and they are testing people for coronavirus. And if you do have coronavirus, but this is according to the news reports, they take you out of your home and put you in a big hospital and just rows and rows of beds, and they don't have medical treatment for you. So it's almost like it's almost like back in the Middle Ages when somebody had leprosy, and they would literally take the person who had leprosy out of the home, and they would be shunned by society.
Sheesh.
So, I mean, what's going on in China right now is a horrible thing. Now, Donald Trump, it's horrible because of the coronavirus. It's horrible because of the way they're dealing with it, that no one has a grasp on how to deal with this and deal with this humanely. They don't have the medical teams. They don't have the infectious teams. Nothing. It's just very haphazard, and now what they're doing is they're ripping people out of their homes. That's what, according to the news reports.
Just
And Donald Trump, of course, he says that China's doing a great job.
That's
Okay, so I'm actually of anything that's going on right now.
This
that
is
to
what
me
you're
is that to me
worried
is
about
very
the
yes.
most.
I'm very worried about.
But
coronavirus.
you are a germaphobe though.
I am. I'm very worried about coronavirus. Now, the number of confirmed cases as of Thursday, I have it here on my card.
Okay.
Okay, this is according to China, 28,000 people, and the number of cases are growing by 15% every day in China. According to official Chinese reports 565 officially have died from the coronavirus. 2 infants just 30 hours old also died because the mother who gave birth had the coronavirus.
Wow.
Now, I am telling you, as Uncle Brad, I'm scared, but I'm not a doctor. I don't even play a doctor on TV.
Right.
I play a lawyer on TV. So don't go with what Uncle Brad says.
Right.
But, I mean,
Go with what Dr. Jerome Adams says. He's the Surgeon General of the United States of America. And he said on Tuesday, which was yesterday, that Americans should be more concerned about the flu than the coronavirus.
I did see that.
Right. He said there have been 11 confirmed cases in the United States. All those people either have been in the part of China where the virus has been most widely detected or in close contact with those people. He said the fact is, at least right now, the risk of coronavirus is low to most people in the United States. You're more likely to be hospitalized or to die from the flu than the coronavirus. That is according to Dr. Jerome Adams.
That doesn't make you feel better?
That does not make me feel better at all.
At all.
At all. What do you think? Are you scared about this coronavirus?
I'm not as scared, but I do think that there is information that they're withholding from us as well. I think, like you said, it is worse than.
I think there's a lot worse than what they're letting on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
It's just the surface.
Now, Linda Shore says she's scared to drink a Corona beer. That has nothing to do with the
Not me.
coronavirus.
Listen, when you talk about alcohol, baby boy is
Baby boy will
with
be
it.
Sign me
drinking
up.
Corona beer every
Sign me
day.
up.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, meanwhile, I don't know if the coronavirus means we're coming to the end of the world or this is we're coming to the end of the world.
But the coronavirus has been out for a while, right?
No, only a couple weeks.
No,
No,
yeah,
no,
this one's
because
newer.
like The Simpsons, didn't they have like a?
No, they had SARS.
No, they had like an episode where they were talking about coronavirus
Yeah, but the
and had all these
Simpsons- but the
Asian
Simpsons-
people. Like
but
this
the-
was years ago, like a decade ago.
But do you
Really?
ever see on YouTube, if you and people who are on YouTube right now, there's The Simpsons predicted
Everything.
A lot of
everything.
things.
They even
Donald
predicted
Trump.
15 years ago Donald Trump would be
Yeah,
president. Like,
had the same
Yeah.
like him going down the escalator and everything. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy that they predicted all of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to see it. Let me see.
What have you predicted, baby boy? Have you made any predictions that
His
have come through in your
predictions
life?
have come from The Simpsons.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
He's watched a lot of Simpsons.
That's what I go off of.
Meanwhile, Antarctica, yesterday. Okay. Now, when you think of Antarctica,
He was right.
What?
Right?
It was on a 1993
what
episode.
was on the 1993
1993
episode?
Yeah,
What?
that The Simpsons predict the coronavirus outbreak.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
they had it.
And they called it coronavirus?
Look, and it has
Did they
Asian
call?
people.
Did the Simpsons call coronavirus?
Yes, coronavirus.
Coronavirus with
And then
Asian
look,
people
Asian
getting
people
sick.
coughing, and then you
Wow. Wow.
I'm gonna tell you something. These writers, they're like from another world from The
scary.
Simpsons, right?
I
Yeah.
think they called it the Oscar flu, though. But
But I have to say this because this is really bothering me.
see. Okay.
I got to get off of coronavirus for a second. You know Antarctica, right? It's
Yeah.
cold there.
Yes.
Super
Supposed
cold.
to
Super
be.
cold. Would it surprise you that the temperature yesterday in Antarctica was the same temperature as it was in San Diego?
no.
It was the hottest day ever recorded in Antarctica history. Antarctica reached yesterday 65 degrees.
Wow.
Yes.
Global
and-
That's
warming is real. Global
no.
Yes.
warming is real.
Now, to be fair, it is summer in Antarctica, but it is not typical for Antarctica to be 65 degrees. The record-breaking temperature has not been verified by the World Meteorological Organization, but the Simpsons have verified it, and they claim but apparently people who are living there are claiming that it did reach that. I mean, that's pretty scary.
Polar
That's
bears
very
are
scary.
confused.
Or dying. Like,
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. So, you travel international at all?
Yeah, I do.
Are you part of the global entry thing?
Am
You
I?
know,
No, I have
Well, you
think
can't do
TSA
it.
pre-check,
Okay,
but I
but you
don't
can't
have.
do global entry now.
What?
Yeah, you can't do it anymore. You live in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, Donald Trump says no. Can't
What do
do
you
it.
mean?
Yeah, he said no.
Why?
Only New Yorkers can't do it anymore.
Shut up.
I'm not shutting up.
Good thing I live in Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey can do it right now, but maybe in a couple weeks Jersey can't do it either.
Great.
Because
Trump is
New
just
York,
messing up everybody.
Trump is so vindictive. He is so vindictive, this guy, that because New York started giving driver's licenses to people who are undocumented, the Department of Homeland Security says every New Yorker now cannot be trusted to go through the.
How about if you already have it?
If you already have it, you have it, but you can't renew it. Now, lucky for me, I just renewed mine 6 months ago, so I have another 4.5 years.
Jeez.
But I have friends who are in the renewal process and they can't renew it
Now.
So for those who don't know, the global what's it called? The global entry.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. You don't go online, to go see an immigration officer. You put your fingerprints in the machine. They give you a ticket. You walk out. It's really cool and very fast.
Yeah.
And you have to go be interviewed by the Department of Homeland Security. Make sure you're not a risk. I was interviewed. They said Uncle Brad's okay.
I have TSA pre-check.
Right. They said Uncle Brad's okay, and so I could put my fingerprints into the machine.
Yeah.
So now the Department of Homeland Security says we don't know who's okay anymore because New York's giving driver's licenses out to everybody, which is a bunch of BS.
Right.
Wow.
For two reasons. Number one, the Department of Homeland Security has to personally interview you and verify who you are and verify you're a U.S. citizen. So whether or not New York State is giving out driver's licenses to undocumented aliens or not has no effect on this interview process, and it has no effect on whether or not they can verify you are who you are or whether or not you're a security risk.
Right.
Yeah.
What Donald Trump is doing is he is punishing
That's what he is.
New York State because when you apply for a driver's license, Department of Homeland Security wants the information from New York State for the people who are undocumented who applied for this driver's license so they can go and knock on their door and put them in deportation. And New York State says, we're not going to do that. We are not going to give you this information. And the reason is because New York wants safe streets. That is the policy. Why do you get safe streets when you give driver's licenses to undocumented aliens? Because you're more likely to not have a hit and run. You are more likely to have insurance when you drive a car. You are more likely to obey the laws when you have a driver's license.
Right.
It will make for safer streets,
Right.
which is ultimately, we don't want people hit by cars. I just had a friend die in a car accident last week.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? I don't want to see more people die.
Yeah.
So you give people driver's licenses,
I
you
agree.
test them, you have insurance, there's no hit and runs.
I agree.
From Trump's perspective, he says, well, if you're giving away driver's licenses, it's going to make people come. Nobody, they're coming to America
Right.
with or without,
the
whether you give a driver's license or
Right.
not. Okay? The fact that you don't give a driver's license, nobody says, oh, hell with it. I'm gonna go to Antarctica and they're giving me driver's licenses
Right.
there. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.